Hi everybody, happy Sunday. Hope everybody's having a good day. I am outside on my back deck, so hopefully it's not too windy or too noisy for you guys. Today I am going to be reading. Yesterday I had said that I was going to read a blog called Courage to Serve that I had written for Veterans Day 2 years ago, but I thought I would save that for Memorial Day, which is next week. And so I'm just going to keep moving into my November blogs, November of 2018. So the next one is one that I wrote for my wedding anniversary on November of 2018, and it's called If I Knew Then. And so I'm going to try to get through it without too many emotions, but no promises. Okay, so this is If I Knew Then. Today is our 17th wedding anniversary. This is our golden anniversary. 17 years on the 17th. I don't know if that's a thing, but they do it for birthdays, so why not anniversaries too? This feels like a significant anniversary for me because this is the first year I've felt fully me. Felt like I'm becoming a whole person and can celebrate this day with complete love and gratitude for Jason, my husband, for myself, for who we were, who we are, and who we are becoming. I was looking at these wedding pictures last night and I was thinking, if the me I am today was standing in that crowd, what would I tell that girl? And this is the wedding pictures that I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see that. There's a glare. That's me and Jason coming out of the church after, I guess that was probably after the ceremony, and people were doing bubbles and whatnot. So I was thinking, if the me I am today was standing in that crowd, what would I tell that girl? The first thing that came to mind was, I'm going to try not to cry. The first thing that came to mind was, it's going to be hard. So hard. Harder than you ever thought possible. You're going to want to give up. You're going to want to walk away, but don't. The hard times are going to teach you more than you know. There will be seasons where it feels like there's no good to be found, but you have to choose every day to open your eyes and look for the good. Not just in that man by your side, but in yourself. You have value, you have worth, you have beauty, you have purpose, and none of those things are found in who you've chosen to marry. They are found in the one, capital O, for who your heart and soul long for. The one and only one who can and will meet every need you will ever have. Cling to him. He truly is the way, the truth, and the life. You will lose your way along this road and he will bring you back. You will be deceived by lies and he will free you with his truth. You will find yourself dying, withering away, and he will call you out of the grave to transform you with his life. It's so cliche to say, if I knew then what I know now, because I only know now what I didn't know then through the hard times and what they taught me. I look back to who I was 17 years ago, so young and full of all kinds of unrealistic expectations about life and marriage and myself. I have spent the last 7 months of my life giving way to God's transformative work in my life. Allowing him to unravel all of the knots I couldn't undo on my own. A lot of them started long before my wedding day, but I dragged them right into this marriage, creating a tangled mess inside myself that just got more and more unruly as I went through life, tripping and stumbling over this twisted mess of insecurity, fear, confusion, and jumbled thoughts, snarled, restraining, strangling cords that held me captive to so many lies, such as, I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough, I'm not worth loving. How could I possibly know how to love anyone else if I didn't know how to love myself first? Today I look at pictures of the two of us and see a lot of life lived, love, laughter, and lessons learned. Many battles fought and victories won, successes and failures, a lot of changes. We've changed our address 7 times, changed countless diapers, changed perspectives, changed ourselves, and changed each other for the better. If that 20-year-old girl with her white dress and fresh hope were sitting next to me on the couch today, I would give her a huge hug and tell her it won't always be hard. There will be a time when you stop running from yourself. You'll stop and see who you truly are. You'll see beyond all of the broken pieces that God has had his hand in every single moment of it all, and he is using all of it. He will put you back together. He will give you eyes to see yourself as he sees you, a beautiful, cherished treasure. Once you can finally see yourself how God sees you, he will give you eyes to see everyone else the same way, especially that guy you're going to spend your life with. He is a beautiful, cherished treasure too, and he has just as many tangled up knots as you do. Let him be who God created him to be. Let him love you. You deserve to be loved, and you are worthy of love. You can accept what he's offering, even if it looks differently than what you were expecting. Look for the good and hold tightly to it. It's what will make you stay and give you the willingness to keep choosing to love every day. Looking forward, I have no idea what the me 17 years from now would look back and say to the me I am today. I'm thinking it would be something like, you got it wrong more times than you got it right. But you didn't give up. You're stronger than you think. The choices you're making today may seem insignificant, but you are changing the trajectory of your life, your marriage, your family. Keep looking for the good, and remember that love is a choice every day. Your mom didn't make that up all these years ago. Keep looking, keep choosing, keep growing. It has made all the difference. Love never gives up. Love cares more for others than for self. Love doesn't want what it doesn't have. Love doesn't strut, doesn't have a swelled head, doesn't force itself on others, isn't always me first, doesn't fly off the handle, doesn't keep score of the sins of others, doesn't revel when others grovel, takes pleasure in the flowering of truth, puts up with anything, trusts God always, always looks for the best, never looks back, but keeps going to the end. 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 7 from the Message Bible. So, that is my blog for today. A little bit emotional there at the end because I do get it wrong more than I get it right, and I'm learning to accept my strengths and my weaknesses. That's part of something that I have learned in recovery. But learning to love myself has been, I think, one of the major keys to unlock being able to have a more healthy marriage. And I said it in what I wrote here, that there's no way that we can learn to love anyone else if we're not able to love ourselves. And the second thing would be the unrealistic expectations. And I'm sure I've talked about that before, but having the delusion that the person that you're married to, or your children, or friends, or whatever relationship really, but I think it's most common in marriage, thinking that that person is going to be able to fix all the things in you that you've brought to this marriage. I didn't realize that was not going to work when we first got married, and I mean really up until 2 years ago. And I didn't even realize that that's what I was doing, that I was expecting someone else to be able to take on these things that I was handing to them, and saying, hey, can you fix what's broken in me. But that's really what it boiled down to. And so learning that is an unrealistic expectation has been very freeing, and learning that the things that need to be unraveled and fixed and patched and all of that, being able to look to God to do that healing instead of the person that I'm married to, has, from my perspective, it has taken a big weight of responsibility off of Jason, my husband, because no one can meet those expectations. No one can meet those requirements to be, everything that a person needs them to be, when they were never designed to be that way. And certainly there are needs that get met in marriage. I'm not discrediting that, but to put all of your baggage at one person's feet and say, now you carry that, that's unrealistic and not healthy. And I didn't know that I was even doing that until I started therapy and started working through the things that were holding me down and holding me back, and creating so much unhealthiness inside of me. So now we are almost to 20 years of marriage. That was 2 years ago, so it'll be 19 years this November. Next year will be 20. And there's been, in the last 2 years, there has been a lot of growth in both of us. And I can see where we're growing separately from each other, not like growing away from each other, but independently on our own. We are each growing and changing, and that is making us have to, I think, adjust to who we are evolving to. I mean, we're not the same people that we were 20 years ago, thank God. And that there was a point where that felt a little bit scary to me, because I was changing so much I didn't recognize myself some days. And I just didn't really know how to fit in the space next to this person that I had always occupied. And I felt like the shape of that space was confining to me. And I can definitely see how when people go through midlife crisis, or they go through, some sort of change, similar to what I've been through, I can see why that would lead to divorce a lot. That might not be a popular opinion, but you start getting freed from all of these things that have held you down for so long. And if you don't have a partner that can grow and change with you, I could see a person, growing away and growing beyond that marriage. But I'm not saying that that's right, but I can definitely see from my own experience how that, that might have presented itself if I was not married to a person who wasn't also committed to change. And so now I feel like I'm going to get emotional. So that, I think, makes me very grateful that we have not had to navigate that type of difficulty. And he has probably been more accepting of me than I have been of him. I don't know if that is a fair assessment of myself, but I think I am becoming more accepting of how he's made and how God made him, and I've always tried to be supportive, but I've always been supportive in ways that are natural, come natural to me. But sometimes in marriage, you got to go beyond that, and so really trying to surrender what I think marriage should look like, and that it doesn't always have to look the way that I think it should look. So I don't know if that's making sense to anyone who might still be listening, but I would definitely say that I am, the number one emotion that I'm feeling right now is gratitude. That that we've been able to grow and change together, and it's brought us closer together, and we've been able to talk and share things deeply, and we just keep going deeper together in the things that we're discovering about ourselves, and the things that we're uncovering about ourselves. So that's definitely a gift that I'm grateful for, and I understand and I can appreciate that not everybody has that gift, and so I don't think about it very often, so I think I probably do take it for granted, but having that awareness right now as I'm sharing that on this video makes me want to be committed to not taking that for granted, because I know that that's not everybody's story, and that's hard. It's hard to want something so badly, and to be the only one in that relationship that wants that. I would imagine, since I'm not in that position, I don't know what that feels like, but I would think that would be very lonely and very sad. And I think that would be a situation where you definitely would have to surround yourself with people that do support the efforts that you're making to change. So maybe that's the encouragement for today. If you are in a place where you are, trying to make changes for your life, and you're trying to, uncover and discover and let go of old habits and old chains and old behavior patterns, you have to have people in your life that will support you. It's just, you can't go it alone. So that would be my encouragement for anybody who's in that place. And if you already have people in your life supporting you, then, definitely hold tight to them. And if you don't have people supporting you, ask God to put someone in your life. He knows what you need more so than anybody else. And then He has the ability to make that happen, to give you what you need. And there's also something to be said for, sometimes we just have to go through stuff alone. I had a period in my recovery where I just felt like nobody was really getting what I was going through. And some of that, we kind of deceive ourselves into being isolated. But there is something to be said for when you start walking a path of recovery, nobody can walk it for you. And sometimes no one's going to walk it with you. You just, it's just you and God. And I think that there is a reliance that comes out of that on, your reliance on God gets stronger, and, your faith and your relationship with God becomes deeper. And that is not, something to take lightly. I've seen that in my own life, and it definitely makes me grateful for that. So that's pretty much all I have to say on that. Tomorrow I will be back with, I don't know what the blog is for tomorrow. I think it is called Fight My Battles. I believe it is a blog that I wrote. We sang, I don't know if anybody's heard the song Surrounded by Michael W. Smith. And we sang that in church one Sunday 2 years ago. And I wrote a blog about just the way that God used that experience to, really solidify how to fight my battles, specifically with depression, and how God, used that experience to speak to me. So that will be my blog for tomorrow. I hope everyone has a good rest of their Sunday, and the sun is shining here. It's been rainy and cloudy all morning, and so it's finally starting to get pretty here, which I'm grateful for. But I will be back tomorrow, and I hope everyone has a good rest of their day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.